Hello and welcome. So today we're taking apart a Omega. It is the J8006 juicer. Well, like the story of most juicers, I used it 4 or 5 times and then it found its way under my stairs for the last year or two. So I'm going to put her on Kijiji, but I thought before I do, I might as well take her apart and see what the hell is going on. Thing turns on. Auger. You put your fruit and veggies and stuff in the top there. It pulverizes her through. Your pulp comes out through this, or I guess your juice comes out through the screen, and then your pulp comes out from the other end and just mashes through. Injection molded with a sticker on her. You can see the part line would be on the inside, is where the mold would separate from. So you don't see anything on the outside here. Oh, you know what, the part line I guess would have to be down here because it's got to get away from the top thing. The outside piece would have to be injection molded too, it looks like. Not sure if that's ABS or if it's something thicker. Next piece, also injection molded, and it's got, I'm guessing it had to be injection molded around this screen here, and then there's a seal inside of here, so you can see the part line down the halfway, and then these little pins on the side here. That's where your injector pins would be to push it out of the mold. You can see there's the part line on the side. Here's the auger. This must have been made having the shaft and then the plastics injection molded over top of it. You can open her up here. On the top here, that's kind of a pretty nice piece. So this must be, I don't know if that's injection molded or if that's some kind of forming, some kind of vacuum form part where they take it. I'm guessing it's got to be injection molded because look, you see like the details in the corners here. But that's pretty nice surface finish. That would have to be a pretty smooth mold to be able to get that finish on there. Oh. See, look, it's kind of confusing. It says it's got a 1/3 horsepower, 3,600 RPM motor gears down to 80 RPMs, or 2 horsepower with the gear reduction. See, but the thing is that your power on whatever piece of equipment you have, it's got it. Your power stays the same. Your power, it doesn't matter if they give it to you in watts or horsepower or whatever. But your power is always equal to, it's just your torque times your speed. That's it. So like on the side of the motor, so on like this side of the motor where it's going at 3,600 RPMs, it's got very low torque, but if you multiply your torque times your speed at this part, it's going to be equal to your power. If you take it over to your auger, it's going to be going really slow, but it's going to have a very high torque. But it should be giving you the same power no matter what. You lose a little bit because of the gearbox, but it's weird that they say, or it's incorrect that they say, that it's a 1/3 horsepower motor, and then it goes to 2 horsepower with the gear reduction. It's the same power at your motor as it is what's going to be on the outside of it. So I got this tachometer thing that measures how fast piece rotates. Just got a little laser beam that measures the pulses. So I put a little piece of reflective tape on the end of this thing, and we're gonna measure it to see how close it is to what they say it should be. So I'll put this thing over here. Got a little laser light. It's reading close to 96 RPM. If you hold it, you're gonna burn your hand out here before it's both the same, about 95 RPM. So here's the housing for this gear. Take her off here. It looks like it's like cast housing, and then the front holes up here would be put on a CNC mill, and they would tap those holes. Here we go. Inside here we got a, so it's just a whole bunch of helical gears. So it's got the little one here, goes to the big one, that goes over to, I guess it's going over to this other big one here, and then out. So, and then inside here we got a 603Z sealed bearing. So here's this piece. That's an expensive little piece. It looks like, so that's where your socket part engages into it. Here's the helical gear. They put these helix on it so that when it's turning around, if you just had a regular going straight across, these things usually fail when they're in shear. So if you put an angle on them, you it's better for the gear. You get a longer life out of the thing. The way that this thing's hooked on here, you can see the different color on here. It looks like this thing was heated up, and then it was slid over the shaft, and then they let it cool. So it's just a interference fit between the shaft and the gear. So a cheap way of doing it, but kind of a pain in the arse for the guy who's got to heat them up and do it. On the inside of the shaft here, you can see the big bearing is 600, what's that, 6001Z, and the little one's 626Z. So all just off-the-shelf parts, both sealed with a metal seal, not gasket. So okay, smarter than your average bear, I just put a piece of duct tape on there. Makes it a little more cylindrical. Now I'll put my fancy piece of reflective tape on. See, that comes flying off. And we'll take a reading. So we're getting about 1700 RPM. So I drew out our motor thing here, and I'm going to calculate the gear ratio to see if what we measured is actually right. So we measured like 1700 RPM for the motor, how fast it was going, and on the output we got about 90 RPM. So I went and I counted the teeth of these gears because I got nothing but time, and I got 6 on the input for the motor, 6, then it comes to this guy. I got 27 on this nylon gear, 11 off of this guy, and then that goes over to our metal gear that I got 46 on it. So if you want to know your gear ratio, it's just equal to your output over your input times your output over your input for each of your sets. So you can see here we got the ratio's being reduced 2 times here. The first one is between the motor and this white gear, and then as a separate one it goes off the same shaft here, because this one are going at the same speed when it goes around. From this smaller gear back to the bigger one. So your gear ratio is just going to be equal to, so your output of your first one, which we said was 27 teeth. We need a new marker. Your input was 6 teeth. Your output on the second one was 46 teeth. And your input was 11 teeth. So our gear ratio is 27 times 46 divided by 6 divided by 11. So that's 18.81. So on our input speed, we measured about 90 RPMs, and our output, we measured about 1700 RPMs. So the ratio you could just get from this is about, so your output over your input is 1700 divided by 90. So 1700 divided by 90 is 18.8. So I'm guessing that thing was measuring it correctly. That's pretty freaking close.